You could take this line of reasoning, right? When Christianity had the most influence on Western society, maybe like the Middle Ages, governments were monarchies. Churches were top-down hierarchies, especially the Roman Catholic Church. Children obeyed their parents. People didn't question their genders. If you're like me, I'm batting 500. I like, two of those things I feel pretty good about. Two of those things really concern me, right? But the question is, am I being inconsistent by saying that? Now, not to bury the lead, we're both Baptists who work for Baptist Parachurch Ministries, minister in Baptist churches. So we do want church-state separation. We want congregational autonomy. But we also don't want transgender chaos or a general sense of disrespect and dishonoring of authority figures. So why do we think then, to flip the question around, why should we think that a Baptist political theology specifically and ecclesiology are good for society?
Well, let me just be very, very clear. The first question a Christian should always ask is not the pragmatic one, which you just asked. It's a fine question. It's not a bad question. It's a good question. I'm going to answer
I received rebuke.
Oh, it's not a rebuke. It's just, I want to make sure people understand the first question we always ask is, what's the Bible say?
That's right.
Is it biblical? Well, when it comes to matters of church government, I could tell you bad Baptist stories, bad Presbyterian stories, bad Anglican stories. I could tell them all. Mm-hmm. And so the question we always have to ask first is, what does the Bible say? Okay, having done that, let's suppose we kind of work through those issues, but we're still asking the question that you just asked, which again is a good pragmatic question, which is, why is Baptist ecclesiology, is that what you said?
Yeah, and political theology, both dealing with authorities, right?
Yeah. Why is it good for society? Several reasons. One, I think history, so I'm not going to appeal to scripture, I'm going to appeal to history, because
we will assume that Baptists have it right biblically. Yeah.
Ask me a pragmatic question, so I'm going to give a pragmatic answer.
That's great.
Number one, appealing to history, I do think in general it shows it's good to push authority downward for the sake of keeping it accountable. I think the Federalist Papers were exactly right. That he didn't say power corrupts. Madison made the point that in Federalist 51 in particular, that men are natively ambitious, and therefore you need ambition to check ambition, right? And C.S. Lewis has a very similar quote. He talks about, he says, some people are Democrats because they think we're good and deserve rule of a nation. He says, I am a Democrat for the opposite reason. No, I'm bad. And not only am I not worthy of rule of a nation, I'm not worthy of rule over a hen roost. And some people say slavery is a bad idea because no one deserves to be a slave. That may or may not be. What I'm confident of, says Lewis, is that no one deserves to be a slave master. Mm-hmm. Okay, what does Baptist ecclesiology do? It pushes authority downward, right? And I think that's a good thing to the congregation as a whole. What does the Baptist political theology do? Well, insofar as it emphasizes regenerate church membership, it forbids a Christian nation. You cannot adopt a Christian nation from a Baptist perspective, at least not be consistent. There's been one or two guys who have tried. John Gill, he tried. Not successfully. Insofar as you try to combine the nation state with the church, a la paedobaptism, which you can do in paedobaptism, so that you can have Roman Catholic Spain, Lutheran Germany, Christian Europe, Congregational Massachusetts, going back to colonial days, because you're baptizing into the church newborns in the same motion that you're making them citizens of the same, so they can be overlapping. You are creating forms of hierarchy that very much work against democracy. So I think, okay, number one, I'm kind of babbling here. Number one, I do think it's good to push authority downward, and I think history shows that it helps keep it accountable. Number two, I think pushing authority downward and saying to the church, to the congregation, you have authority here, and to the citizens of a democracy, you have authority here. What does that do? It strengthens, or at least demands, that a nation be strengthened and equipped to do their jobs.